deport him to his country and let them decide if he's guilty
So
or
you're
not.
just saying
Give
that
him
you
his due
disagree with the law.
process
You're
there.
saying that you disagree with the current law, right?
Sure, if they're not thinking the way I am, I disagree.
Okay, so you're basically admitting that the Trump administration did something illegal, but you just support it.
No, I'm happy you deported him.
But the deportation was illegal, John.
He's here illegally. How's that illegal?
Wait. How's it illegal? Because the Supreme Court, the ultimate interpreters of American law, as well as the American Constitution, said so.
Of course.
John, why?
Yo.
Why, John? Why do you support the worst president of your life? Why?
Well, for a few reasons, but I'm curious your thoughts on the MS-13 member that the Democrats seem to want back in our country.
Okay. So first and foremost, when you say the Democrats want the MS-13 member back into the country, you're assuming he's an MS-13 member, as well as you're assuming that it's just the Democrats who want to uphold the law. However, that claim might be true. The Trump administration was actually ordered to facilitate Abrigo Garcia's return to America by the Supreme Court.
Yeah, he ignored it. They don't have any rule. They can't
The
do
Supreme
anything
Court
about
are Democrats.
Wait. What were you about to say there, John?
it. I said they can't do anything about it.
They can't do anything about it, like the Trump administration?
Well, Trump doesn't have to let him back.
Okay, well, literally he does. Yes, he does have to facilitate his return in
as for
accordance
the
with the
MS
order from the Supreme Court. Don't pivot. You said that he doesn't have to facilitate his return. Yes, he was ordered by the Supreme Court to do so. So, like, legally speaking, he does have to. He's just simply ignoring that legal order.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So do you think that's a good thing when, we see a degradation of checks and balances in our federal government with an attempt to consolidate power to one branch? Are you advocating for a king, sir?
I think it's a good thing to keep gang members out of our country.
Okay, so I just want to clarify. I want you to respond to exactly what I'm saying without a red herring. Do you agree with the Trump administration's decision to attempt to consolidate all power to the executive branch of the government?
Yes, I trust Trump and his administration more than them.
Okay, great. So you want a king.
Well, so let me ask you this. You said that
no.
You didn't even answer that question. Is diabolical.
So you want a king. Like, I just want to, tell you, this is why
I don't want gang members.
This is why the Revolutionary War started, John. It's because we didn't want a king anymore. We didn't want consolidated power to one person and his cronies.
Well, I trust him more.
When you're telling me that you trust one man more than the checks and balances provisioned by the American Constitution, you're a traitor to this country.
Sure.
Like, I'm not even lying. You, like, if you were alive during the Revolutionary War, the drafters of the Constitution would have viewed you as an enemy to what they were trying to build.
Okay, that's fine. But could I ask?
I don't think that's fine. Do you think that you're an American patriot?
Yes, of course.
Okay, how can you be a patriot and an enemy simultaneously?
I don't want an illegal who's a gang member in my country.
So you're not answering to my question. But by the way, he's not a...
What does patriot mean?
Patriot. I don't know. Someone who stands by their country, is loyal to defends the Constitution.
Yeah, but you don't defend the Constitution. You advocate for the degradation of the checks and balances provisioned by the Constitution. And then also, you don't have sufficient evidence that he's a gang member.
And Donald Trump is not... And Donald Trump is not a patriot.
On his arm, on his hand.
No, he doesn't. Stop lying.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't. You're unironically lying. You're okay. So what Donald Trump?
On top of that,
Donald Trump
he's
posted.
illegal
Wait, John. So first and foremost, Donald Trump posted a picture of his hand tattoos, with photoshopped MS-13 on each finger, and said that he has MS-13 tattooed on his hands. Why do you believe this absolute fucking brain rot?
Oh, because the guy's, first of all, he beats his wife too.
Okay, so you're saying if men cause harm to women, they're therefore a member of MS-13. So does that mean that Donald Trump is a leader of MS-13 since he raped Eugene Carroll?
An informant said that he was a part of MS-13.
Yeah, we should get MS-13 out of this country. Donald Trump is MS-13. Get him out of the country. Am I right?
Yeah, you're a comedian. We keep illegals.
No, that's your view. That's what you just said. That's what you just said.
Okay, then secondarily, your claim here is that an informant said that he was. So why is one individual's testimony outside of due process sufficient to rule Abrigo Garcia as a member of MS-13, but not only the testimony of Eugene Carroll but 7 others on top of the preponderance of evidence submitted in?
We're not talking about Eugene Carroll.
So John, Eugene. I would like to clarify. Her name's not Eugene, it's Eugene. And then secondly, I'm not pivoting. I'm using your standard of evidence to demonstrate hypocrisy.
Would you want this guy living next to you?
John, I want you to respond to what I'm saying. I'm using your standard of evidence to demonstrate hypocrisy because you're saying that the confidential testimony of somebody that you have no clue of is sufficient evidence for you to prove that Abrigo Garcia is a member of MS-13. But then, like, for whatever reason, due process in a civil court where E. Jean Carroll gave her testimony as well as the testimony of 7 others on top of other surrounding evidence is not enough to believe that Donald Trump is a rapist. Why do you hold such a vast difference in your standard of evidence?
Well, because I'm going to use a bit of common sense here. I'm going to assume the informant didn't pull his name out of a hat and just make up that he's a part of a gang. One.
Okay, so then
And
why
two,
can't I assume that Eugene Carroll didn't just pull up
let me
Donald
answer the
Trump's name out of
question.
a hat?
Let me answer the question. Eugene Carroll, by the way, whatever. She went on.
You'll say her name correctly because you know her name. You're purposely doing that.
Actually, no. I pronounced it how I know it.
Eugene.
She went on The View parading that she just made millions and millions of dollars and she was going to go blow it on whatever. She was parading that she took millions of dollars from Trump. It was all shakedown.
Oh, so
I don't believe
you didn't
she
even
was
watch
parading that she got money from Trump. First of all, I'm not
Yes,
sure
on
that
The
happened.
View.
Second
It's
of
on
all,
TV.
if it did happen, Bubba based Eugene Carroll. Holy fucking shit. She's a icon. An absolute icon.
yeah.
Okay, I just want to clarify. If she did that, if she was able
He's ashamed
to
of women who are
successfully-
actually abused.
If she was able to successfully hold Donald
such
Trump
a disgusting fuck.
If she was able to successfully hold her rapists accountable, then fucking get $87 million to be forced to go from him to her because he raped her, then I think she has the right to spend that money however the fuck she wants. And if she's
Absolutely.
talking about how
Hold
she's
on.
going to spend that money, oh my God, an absolute icon.
Where's your
Mwah,
proof that he
to a
raped
T,
her?
to a
Where's your
T.
proof?
Well,
The civil court
that's
case. The
defamation.
civil court case.
well, I mean,
Oh, it's
civil
not
court case.
defamation because Donald Trump has been determined by a civil court to be a rapist.
He was not criminally convicted of raping her.
Wait, so you're saying that a criminal conviction has to occur in order for you to believe the claim? Where's the criminal conviction that Abrigo Garcia is a member of MS-13, bud?
Well, he's deported for a reason. They found.
Where's the criminal conviction, John?
You would not want this guy.
John,
living next
answer
to
my
you. You
question.
would
Where's
not
the criminal
want him
conviction of
living
Abrigo
next to you.
Garcia? John, stop pivoting, stop dodging. I want you to answer to me very directly. Where's the criminal conviction that has labeled Abrigo Garcia as a member of MS-13?
He wasn't criminally convicted. He was
Oh,
deported.
well, sorry, John. I'm going to need a criminal conviction in order to
And
believe your
actually,
nonsense.
the El Salvador president has him in a jail right now for a reason.
So I want to clarify. I'm going to need a criminal conviction in order to believe your nonsense, little bro.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't believe her.
Yeah, because you don't see a criminal conviction. So I'm going to use that same
No,
standard
that's
of
not why I
evidence.
don't believe her.
Okay, so then why did you bring it up?
I think she was. Well, you asked me a question. I think she was.
Oh,
looking
no,
for
actually,
me.
Parker didn't ask you a question. He stated the evidence is that Donald Trump is
You
upset
did,
life. No,
dumbass.
No, hey, man, let's not get upset. I understand. You don't know how to regulate your emotions, just like your daddy in the Oval Office, but, that's neither here nor there.
Do you have a dad?
Do
you have a dad?
Yeah, I love him. He loves me. I bet
That
you'd
is
like
a
to meet
crazy
him, though, right?
question to ask.
You did a bad job
That is a crazy question to ask, John.
Well,
with you too, Parker.
So, John, I understand that you think instilling a reasonable basis of wanting to seek genuine truth with the deployment of reason, fact, and logic is a bad job because it threatens everything that you stand for.
John's like so mad that he had to like go to that. That's crazy. You got him so
Little
pissed.
boys.
You pissed him off so bad.
If this country was left up to people like you, we would be fucked.
You would be fucked,
Both
John.
of you.
You would be fucked.
You
That's
would
for
be
sure.
fucked.
John, I'm going to clarify.
get ran
if the
over.
country was left up to being ran by me and people like me, people that value truth, people that value reason, logic, and want to instill values of wanting to seek an education and had no genuine facts of the world around us through like logical exploration, you would be absolutely and totally fucked. And the reason
A
I say
couple of
that you'd be
teenage girls
absolutely
would beat the two of you up. Teenage fucking girls.
John, okay. I mean, I was roasting you at this point. I don't really think it matters though because
No,
you're
it's a
just gonna
fact.
still
It's a
John, I don't even
I'm just
think you have
telling you what it
operating.
is.
I am not convinced you have operating brain cells.
Just a quick question, since you're such a reasonable, smart guy.
when they're 100.
In what measurement are testosterone levels measured in?
What measurement? I don't know. Go get a blood test and find out.
So John, it's nanograms per deciliter.
Nanograms. I don't give a fuck.
It's nanograms per deciliter. Do you know what a nanogram is?
What's yours? What's yours, Dean?
I've never got it tested.
Maybe you should figure it out. Maybe you should raise them a bit and you'll become a Republican.
You know, I've actually got mine tested. It's about 1,400, bro.
14
Oh, yeah,
that's
okay,
like,
tough
that's,
guy.
That's like equivalent to like all-star bodybuilders.
That's how stupid you are. You don't
Yeah,
even
dude,
know.
I've got a
how ridiculous
1,400, bro.
that is.
I'm serious, John. 1,400, bro.
And then also,
Yeah, 14.
Get on my level.
hey John,
If you're 1400,
John,
I'm a fucking million.
Hey, John, just real quick. I
Fuck's
understand
sake.
that you want to like go like full like caveman mode and talk about your testosterone levels.
Sure,
It's like
sure,
typically
sure.
what beta males do.
You know
when
it's
they
actually
listen to debate.
studied? You know it's a study.
Well, it's not a study to you. You didn't
Lower
even,
testosterone levels are...
John, it's not a study to you. You didn't even know the unit it was measured in.
So anyways, would you like to have this guy as a neighbor, by the way? This MS-13?
Would you like to have Donald Trump as a neighbor?
Absolutely.
That is diabolical. The guy who had held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman that bragged about walking in the changing rooms of girls in
You
Miss
probably
USA
up my
'cause he
property
quote-unquote owns the
value,
place.
actually.
Yeah, but
You up my property value.
anyways,
Not decrease it.
I would like to clarify that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a Brillo Garcia as a neighbor.
Really?
Yeah.
You the guy who beats his wife?
You just told us that you want a rapist to be your neighbor. And
Answer my question.
And then on top of
The guy who
that,
beats his wife, you'd be happy to have as a neighbor.
and according to people in the chat, that claim is not true, quite frankly. But
What's not true?
I want to clarify. So what I do know about the claim that Abrigo Garcia's beat his wife, like,
Not
can
just
you reiterate to us the evidence for that real quick?
For what? Sorry.
Yeah, that he beat his wife.
It's public information. I mean, I
but like-
saw it on the news.
but like,
and when
what's the public
she was
evidence?
asked the question, when she was asked the question, she didn't even deny it. She just wouldn't answer it.
Oh, so are you saying like the evidence is her testimony?
What?
Like, what's the
It's
evidence?
a fact. He beat his wife.
I know, but what's the evidence to justify the fact? Like, I'm not like, telling you you're wrong. I'm just genuinely curious.
You're asking if I don't understand. What are you asking? Sorry, I kept
Yeah.
getting calls in between.
What is the evidence to justify the claim?
I saw it on the news just that he has a criminal history of assaulting his wife.
I know, but like, are you saying that so he's like criminally convicted of it?
I'm not sure. I just know he did it. That's what I
So
heard.
then
I
how
don't
do
know
you-
if he
then
was
how do you know he did it?
arrested.
Oh, he believes that, but he doesn't believe Eugene Carroll.
Well, it was on the news. I saw it on the news.
Again,
I don't
believes
really
that,
care.
but doesn't
I don't
believe
really
Eugene
care if he
Carroll.
was arrested or
wait,
not.
actually,
for
I'm
it.
going to go ahead and just read you a quote from his wife. After surviving domestic violence in a previous relationship, I acted out of caution following a disagreement with Kilmar by seeking a civil protective order in case things escalated. Things did not escalate, and I decided not to follow through the civil court process, where we're able to work through the situation privately as a family, including by going to counseling. So, like, seemingly what is being told here is that there was probably, like, high tensions between Abrigo Garcia and his wife at one point in the past, and out of a stance of caution, the wife then filed a civil protection order in case things did escalate to the point of domestic violence. However, things did not escalate to the point of domestic violence, and that is, like, from the wife. That is a quote from the wife.
He didn't assault her,
Yeah, according to the wife. Yeah.
and you're gonna say right now he didn't assault her.
Yes, I will say
So
that.
if people in
right
the comments look up if he assaulted his wife, they're not gonna find anything.
now. I just quoted the wife saying that it never happened.
Okay, but if people look up if this guy's assaulted his wife, they're not gonna find anything saying he did.
Yeah,
Wait,
precisely.
I'm sorry. So why do you believe that, but you don't believe Eugene Carroll?
Yeah, like you believe that like he is a wife beater.
Well, because Trump's been politically persecuted so many times. It's outrageous. I mean, like his thing with the property where they tried to say they claim fraud or he overestimated his property value. Nobody has to deal with that shit except for him. Nobody gets charged with what he did. First of all, the judge said his property is worth $18 million.
I'm not even referencing. We're referencing the fact that he was held civilly liable for sexual abuse.
Well,
right? Why don't you believe
I'm telling
Eugene
you, the reason
Carroll?
I don't
Listen,
believe
John.
it is because I think people are out for blood and for his money just because they don't like him.
So then why do you believe that Garcia assaulted his wife with no evidence, and the wife says it never occurred? But then you don't believe that Trump raped Eugene Carroll with evidence when Eugene Carroll said it occurred.
She was asked the question, and the wife was asked the question, and she literally wouldn't answer the fucking question.
I know I have her
It's
answer
public
right here.
record. It's public record that she filed domestic violence charge against him.
No, that's not true at all. She filed a civil protective order, and this is a quote.
For
once
what
again from
reason?
her. I just told you. I read a quote from her. The reason is that she had survived domestic violence in a previous relationship, and she filed. Wait. What do you mean? Yeah, exactly. I'm literally answering your
She
question.
filed it against
insofar
him.
as
She
why
filed filed
she filed a
against him.
civil protective order. The wife
He filed it
literally
against him
said,
because of a past relation.
yes, that is what she said. She filed a civil protective order against him because in a past relationship, she had survived DV, and out of an abundance of caution, she filed for a civil protective order in case things escalated to a point of DV. She then said, and I quote, "Things did not escalate." And she decided to not follow through the civil court process, and she was able to work through the situation privately. She said that.
And on top of that, he's illegal, correct?
Wait, why? Don't pivot. Don't shift the goalposts.
Well, no, we've talked about this enough.
I want you to concede that he did not abuse his wife.
I from what I heard, he did.
There's what's the evidence?
And from what you heard, Donald Trump sexually abused E. Jean Carroll. Why don't you believe that?
Well, when you go around parading how much money it took from someone laughing about it, it doesn't seem like it was too. She didn't seem too upset about it.
What?
Plus,
E. Jean Carroll was what? How can you say E. Jean Carroll wasn't upset about being sexually assaulted?
Well, I don't
How the
believe he
fuck
did
can
it.
you say that about
I
someone?
don't believe he did it. I don't believe he did it.
Wait, so
Again, without any
wait,
reason, without anything.
Wait, so I just want to clarify. You're saying that you don't think that E. Jean Carroll is a victim of grape because she was happy about the fact that her rapist was held accountable?
Say that again.
You're telling us that you don't believe E. Jean Carroll is a victim of grape because she was very happy that her rapist was held accountable.
Yeah, he's insane.
Yeah,
So
you're just so incredibly backwards, John. You've never had a sentient, rational thought in your life. Because you're literally
Okay.
defending that Abreu Garcia beat his wife, even though his wife said that he didn't. And then you're like, E. Jean Carroll's not a real victim, even though she said that he is. Seven other people did, alongside the preponderance of evidence submitted inside of the civil court that held Trump liable. Like, please get some brain cells, bro. You are like a threat to this country.
It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting how this guy's an accused gang member in domestic violence, and
You don't have any evidence that he beat his wife. His wife
and on
said he
top of
didn't.
that, listen to what I'm saying. It's pretty interesting. He's accused of these things, and on top of that,
accused,
he came
and
here-
then you won't even
Quiet while I'm
accept a
talking.
civil
He
court
came here
against Donald Trump,
illegally.
holding him responsible.
Legally.
Again,
He
you
came
accept
here
accusations
illegally.
towards immigrants, but you do not accept accusations towards
He
Donald
should
Trump.
not be in our
26
country.
women.
He
26
shouldn't be in our country.
And
He's
Donald Trump shouldn't be our president. He has 26 different women that have literally accused him of sexual misconduct, and you didn't believe a single one of those.
hasn't been arrested
And then
for a single one.
I'd also like to really point out here that you're right. Under the current processes, under the current legal processes of deportation, there could have been a claim that he should be deported. We will never know that because he was not given due process in an immigration court. But on top of that, if you are just saying that you want to uphold current immigration laws, then you would. So you do want to uphold current immigration laws?
Yes, he's here illegally.
Okay,
Deport him.
so then you would say
Let
that
them decide if he's guilty.
No, John. If you want to uphold current immigration laws, you would say that Abreu Garcia should be returned to America because that's what current immigration laws state. That's what the Supreme Court, who's the ultimate interpreters of American law and the American Constitution, had ruled.
That's the case. I disagree. I say this. This is what I
so
say.
you're saying that you just disagree with the law, right?
Okay, so here's what I would do. I'm going to tell you what I would think. I think if, first of all, he's here illegally and he committed a crime, deport him to his country and let them decide if he's guilty
So
or
you're
not.
just saying
Give
that
him
you
his due
disagree with the law.
process.
You're saying that you disagree with the current law, right?
Sure, if they're not thinking the way I am, I disagree.
Okay, so you're basically admitting that the Trump administration did something illegal, but you just support it.
No, I'm happy he deported him.
But the deportation was illegal, John.
He's here illegally. How's that illegal?
Wait. How's it illegal? Because the Supreme Court, the ultimate interpreters of American law, as well as the American Constitution, said so.
Dude, he's saying it's wrong for them to, quote unquote, illegally come into the country, but it's okay for him to illegally deport them.
Yeah. Like, I just want to clarify. So why is it okay for Trump to illegally deport him, but it's
So
not
if
okay
you
for
come
him to
here
illegally
illegally, we can't deport you?
Illegally deport you?
Yeah, you can't illegally deport people. That's like kind of why that's self-evident. You can't do illegal things in accordance with the legal system.
ICE?
Does he still have Fourth Amendment protections?
What about ICE? What do you mean we can't deport them?
What do I mean I can't deport him? Here's what I mean. Because it's illegal because the Supreme Court said so. Do you need anything else?
Well, yes, because if you're
Wait,
telling
wait,
me,
wait,
if you
wait. Who's the
If-
ultimate?
hold on, if you come into this country illegally, why do we not have the right to deport you?
So you do have a right to deportation given due process in an immigration court. He was not given that.
We know he's here illegally. He came here illegally in 2011.
It's a lot
So
more complicated.
so let
than
him
that.
go through due process.
Wait,
It's pretty simple.
So he filed for asylum. He did have temporary legal protections, and that's why, you know, him being present in an immigration court for an immigration judge to determine if deportation was legal or not, that would be like incredibly relevant. But John, I just like one last thing here. Do you agree that his deportation was illegal because the Supreme Court ruled it illegal?
If the Supreme Court ruled it illegal, then it's illegal, and I would be in favor of him getting deported either way.
Okay. So I just want to clarify that you are in favor of the Trump administration doing illegal things.
In this case, absolutely.
Okay. So you're okay with the illegal consolidation of power to the executive branch of our government? You're a traitor.
Are you okay with illegal immigration?
Wait,
He got a flag though, Parker.
I'm like, if he's okay with Trump
okay
doing
with illegal
things,
immigration?
then he has to be okay with again undocumented immigrants doing illegal things to come into the country.
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, if you think that it's okay for Trump to do illegal things, so then why isn't it okay for undocumented immigrants to do illegal things for a better life? Like
well,
get into the country.
Trump has his due process in court in the United States if he does something illegal.
What?
This guy's not from the United States. Okay.
You still get due process.
You got a flag.
Yeah, it's okay.